what we'll be starting with today will be a 1 cup method using the Fluid Art ready to pour paint on a black canvas. Okay, this is the 1 cup method using the ready to pour Fluid Art with the flow medium already added. So to start out, since we're using a black canvas, we're gonna use white as our pour base. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna alternate the colors. With the 1 cut method, you can do that several ways. You can put it directly in, or you can drip down the side. Either way is going to get a different effect to your final paint. You continue this until you think you have enough to cover the canvas. I've learned one of my biggest mistakes has been to not have enough paint to cover the canvas. So make sure that when you're doing this, you do more than what you need. I would rather waste a little bit of paint off the side than have a piece that's not finished. You can have a rhyme or reason to the colors that you're putting in. If you're wanting certain effects, like when I do a fire effect, I will purposely do red, orange, yellow in that order to get a certain effect when it's pouring. This one, I'm kind of wanting a chaotic galaxy effect, so I'm just kind of going with the flow here. No pun intended. This one I'm gonna want a nice mix of color. This is why I'm going so chaotic with what I'm putting in. Now, since this is gonna be my final one, I'm using the color that I want on the actual canvas as a base. Quite a bit of it. So the white is what I'm using the final amount. Now you can fill the cup as much as you want with that base color. I just use a little bit since it's a smaller canvas. Now you take, for the 1 pour method, you take the canvas, set it on top of the cup. Turn. You can lift straight up, or you can turn as you're lifting to get the effect, to get different effects. Once the cup comes off, you begin to tilt to get the things that, if you see something that you like that's forming, turn and try to keep that. Go off the side there. To see what I want to keep is right here. So I'm coming off the side with this one, and once I get that stretched out to where I want it, then I come back, and I come back to this side. Because now I want to stretch this, the black and blue lines that are coming off of there, I kind of want to give that more prominence, and stretch that out. And you see what that's doing to this is creating a new effect here, which I'm really liking. And depending on the angle of the tilt, or the amount of tilt, or how fast you're moving it, can decide what you get. And these little things forming here are called cells. add more cells by adding more pour medium, which is going to be either your WD-40 or your glue water mixture or your Floetrol. Now with what we use there, it already has the flow medium mixed in. So you don't have to add flow medium, but you can. You can use one with the flow medium already in it and add WD-40 to it to get a whole new effect. Now let's say I love everything that's going on here, but I've got a spot here that has nothing and I don't want to lose what's here. I've left a little bit of paint in the cup. I could take this, place it along here to lock in what's going on there. And then start to turn that, because that'll keep that white from blending out too much. And then I just let that run off. So there can be a lot of artistry to this. You see the relationships forming, you see the shapes forming, and you kind of build with it. See, I like everything that's going on. This corner needed some attention, so that's why I twisted it the way I twisted it, so that it didn't affect what was going on there, and it just brought the attention back to this corner. Get to the point where you like the effect, you like the way it all has come together, then you bring it down flat and you let it dry flat. Now you need something underneath the edges so that it doesn't sit on a surface and harden to the surface, because the paint will continue to drip down the sides, and you want it to drip down the sides so that it'll look like a final piece. You can bring your finger in and kind of touch in any spots where the canvas is still showing through, or you can leave the canvas showing through as an effect. But that is the first tutorial using the ready to pour paints. The next tutorial, we will be mixing our own flow medium, and we'll be using what's known as the blow technique. Okay, with this pour painting tutorial, we are going to show you that no matter what the YouTube snobs say, you don't have to be rich to do this form of art. Yes, I use expensive paint sometimes, and there are those out there that swear you have to use the most expensive materials. However, everything you see in this picture, except for the Elmer's glue, was gotten at the dollar store. The cups, the canvas, the paint, the generic version of WD-40 were all gotten at the dollar store. Okay, to make your own pour medium out of Elmer's glue and water, you use the same amount of Elmer's glue as you use of water. So I'm using this amount of Elmer's glue. I will use the exact same amount of water and mix well to make my pour medium. I can also put the additive of the generic WD-40 if I want more cells. Now that you have the glue, WD-40, and water mixture, you will take, for each individual color, you will take 50% of the flow medium and 50% of the paint to make each individual color cup. Pour in some of that. That's how much of the flow medium I have. I'm going to try to match that with the amount of paint. And then use one of the popsicle sticks we also bought at the Dollar Tree and mix. And you will repeat this for each color that you are going to be using. And it will be the same formula for each color, 50% flow medium, 50% color, except for the color that you're going to be using as your base, which is typically white or black, but can be used any color. And that's going to be the final color, or that's going to be, in this case, since we're doing a multi-cup, it's going to be the first color you pour on the canvas, which is going to be what the other colors flow on top of. Okay, this is going to be my base color. As you see, this is much thinner than the 50-50 mixture, because this is what the other colors will be flowing on top of. Now, unlike the single pour, where we poured everything into one cup, this one we are going to be pouring straight onto the canvas with each individual cup. First, take out your popsicle sticks because that causes it to put the other spot. Whoops. That's okay, that'll just add to your design. Okay, so we're gonna want to take the one that we made a little thinner and we want to pour that on there first. Not all of it, just something for the other colors to blend with. Now, altering, we want to pour the colors, and you can do this any way you want. You could pour it all at once, you could pour it in little spots, you could pour it in lines, however you want to do it. You pour your yellows, and with this particular piece, I'm just using what's considered the fire colors, the warmer colors, yellow, red, and orange, with my white base on a black canvas. Like I said, you can do this in any shapes you want, any forms you want. You want it overlapping in some points because you're gonna want that blending. Kept some paint in each one so that in case I have to touch up areas. And just like the other one, you're going to want to turn and twist to get it to do things. Kind of like what that's doing there, so I want that to spread out. So I let it run off the side. Oh, I want to keep that now. I don't want to lose all that red. So I come over here. And you see how it's forming, starting to form the cells? There, there, there. And you just keep on turning it and getting what you want. I also said I would show you the blow technique in this one. You can grab a straw, and it doesn't have to be a straw like this. It can be any straw. You can buy them at the dollar store, or when you go to a restaurant, just grab an extra straw. Put it in your mouth. See how that brings out the colors underneath? You can change the way your paint is flowing. It can change the effects you're getting.